We got the Super Baja Rey 2.0 here, and I've been running it quite a bit, and I'm finding that it gets really dirty. Inside the body here, inside the cage, I mean, there's all these openings for dirt and mud and whatever you're running in to go into. So I've had issues with grass, I've had issues with mud. It took forever to clean out. So we're gonna make some mud flaps. I've got this, which is it's actually a rubber roofing, and I've pre-cut these to fit up inside the wheel wells here. We're gonna make some mud flaps with them. I also got some plastic that we're gonna cut little cards out to block. So the rubber obviously is pliable, so it's not the best solution for allowing things, blocking it completely. So I'm going to make some plastic cards that go up in here, and then I'm going to put the mud flaps on top of it, and the mud flaps are going to hang down below the tires, just like a real truck, right? So that we can block some of the rooster tail from going inside of the body, so I don't have to spend so much time cleaning it out. So I went to Home Depot just to get some fasteners because I don't have a ton of good fasteners. Got some stainless so that it won't rust on the outside, and I got some washers. And so I'm gonna actually cut up this piece of, I think it's a gutter guard, and this is gonna be my card for the inside of the wheel well. That's the solid part, because they don't really have stuff like that at Home Depot, like just plain plastic. So, but this is pretty thick. It's made for, all sorts of weather. So I should cut that, just, scribe the shape and cut it out, and that will be my basis. And then I'll just bolt it in with these screws. Now, in my previous videos, I've talked about how many body screws there are on the truck, and there's just so many. There's 20 or something like that. I've got a power tool, and you can finally see what it's like to take off this entire body. I'll do a speed up, but yeah, it's not the easiest. And here's the downside. This little screw right here is now rounded off, so I gotta find a way to get this off. Since it was rounded off inside, I was able to find a Torx bit that fit into this. It's definitely not the right bit for this, but it had enough grab where I was able to finally take it out. So crisis averted, but I'm gonna have to throw this one out. I'm gonna have to order some new ones. So you can see how intensive it is to just get this body undone, and you run into issues like rounded off screws or over torque screws, and it can be just a real pain, especially if you use power tools. I usually torque it down with a screwdriver because I don't want to over torque it with a power tool and just deal with what I just dealt with. But now the body finally comes off. It's got a little plug here, and now I can see inside my cavities here, and I can start to measure the cards that I'm going to put inside here, and start doing the mud flap work. I'm just going to cut this up so I have a starting point. Let's see how well it cuts with these tin snips. Not the best, but I'm also in a weird angle, and I'm also left-handed, so that always makes things more difficult. So we can kind of just get a starting piece here, and our final piece will be a little bit cleaner. And so our card is going to go up in here. I just need to kind of scribe the body to see where I'm going to cut this. We're going to go up as high as we want, like high as we can. So we're really just trying to prevent all of the dirt to go inside the chassis. So we'll put this down, and then we'll put the mud flap down. And so the mud flap will be hanging out the bottom, and this card will help the rigidity of the mud flap, and they'll be held together with the same screws. That's the plan, at least. I want to try to drill into this, but I don't want to take the tires off because I've Loctited them. So hopefully I can get the drill in there and get what I needed to done. So I took a measurement here. It's about 3 inches. I think we can go with a flat piece. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to mark down my 3 inches. And then cut it from there. If we need to do some trimming, we can too. I've got plenty of this card stuff, so if I really need to, I can just recut it. This isn't really a science. This is just me kind of using what I got to make stuff. It's not uncommon for me to just use what I have and try to make something useful out of it. I know that they make kits for this. They make kits that are pre-made for it, but I figured I'd give it a shot and try to do it myself. It's always an interesting time. I can be creative when I need to. So this is 3 inches. And we'll shove it in there. Let's see what we got. We're definitely going to cut it down some more. Fits in. So I'm going to kind of just freehand this. It's kind of got a shape like this to it. Kind of like a curved shape. So we'll try that. That's almost perfect. Now the body's going to go a little bit closer. So we're going to keep this shape, but we're going to just cut a little bit more off, especially down here. Because when the body's close, yeah, we still got some room to play with here. Stick it all the way up. Not the easiest to do with the tire still on, but you get the idea. I gotta cut down the body more. So I'm just gonna keep cutting this so I get the right shape, so it fits in nice and snug. Yeah, so I just got the card exactly where I want it, and it sits right under the cage mount here and flush against the side, so that should be easy enough to mount. So I'm just going to cut another one for the other side the same exact manner. So we want it this way, we want to mirror it that way, so we're going to go like that. And we're just going to cut the same shape out on the other one. For the screws. And then our mud flap, I'm probably going to lower it a little bit, so it's going to start like right about there. And then I can probably cut that shape to it, or kind of make it curved. I think if I make it a little curved, it's going to have more rigidity on the bottom. So you can see how I'm kind of curving it, cupping it around this. This is going to have more rigidity than if it was just flat. If it's flat, it just flaps more. So I might do that. I might try to push it out as far as I can. just big enough. Perfect. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do 3 or 2. I'm going to have to kind of do this one at an angle. I can't get the drill in there. I guess we just keep it high. There's no problem in that. Get my fingers out of the way. And do the other side here. This one's a little more crooked, but still good. Kind of get the same spot. This is about how I'm going to do it. At the bottom of the card, I'll just cut it straight out. So let's see how that works. So I got our card, our mud flap. I want it to make the corner a little bit like this, and I want it to stick out a little bit. So let's see how that fits. And stick it about here. It's hard to do this. So you can see the mud flap sticks out a little bit. It's not the straightest thing. Look like that. Got a little mud flap. Got the mud flap situated where I want it. So we're just gonna drill out these holes. And we should be able to test fit now. So I decided to put the mud flap on this side, and I think I like that better. It makes the bottom more rigid down here. And I think I'm gonna put some bolts through the very edge here just to hold the mud flap more tight, and that way I don't have to worry about painting this, because if I painted it, it probably would fleck off the first time I run it because just all the dirt and debris. So, but I do like this. I think this looks good, and when it's all strapped down, ready to go, it's going to provide the protection that I want. So yeah, I'll drill some holes in the mud flap and put some more bolts in there. I got a mud flap. Looks like when I tightened the bolts, it pulled this in a little bit. But honestly, it's in the wheel well, so I don't think you'll even have an idea. Put this body on. all you can see is a couple of screws, a mud flap. That's exactly what I was trying to do. When we're running fast, this is kind of create a little barrier for things to go up in between the body because there's a gap right here. And that's going to do what I want it to do. I'm also going to make some rear mud flaps. But said and done, it doesn't look that bad. And the body's going to be pinched down. It's going to be about there. Looks like I might need to cut just a tiny bit off the top of here. So we'll do that. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, said and done, when it's all buttoned up, you know, you can't really tell. Hopefully it holds up. You can see it kind of flapped out. I might stick some glue in there or something, just for a little flappiness here. But honestly, the card is behind it, so it's going to get the protection I want, and it's really sturdy. So that's what we got for the front. Looks like they hang down a little too far, so I'm gonna have to cut the bottoms out. But we're running. Hopefully that gets some of the crud. I know that the cards that I built will at least protect from stuff going in there. And the mud flaps should do some jobs. I don't know how much they'll do, but every little bit helps. So I'm gonna make mud flaps for the rear, probably tomorrow morning. That doesn't look that bad. I think once I get them cut down, it'll look better. Because right now when it's fully bottomed out, they're gonna be dragging, but that doesn't bother me that much. Not enough to like, I don't want it to get caught in the tire when you go reverse, so. But I don't think it's gonna do that. I still might add some glue to the inside here on the card, but yeah, in the front, you can see the mud flaps. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to cut them down, but yeah, can't complain. They look a little funny when they're bent the wrong way, but and then just match them in the back. They'll be hanging about here. All right, I'm back out here at it. Got the fronts done, gonna do the backs. The backs, really, I kind of know where I need to be, so we're gonna take the body off. I'm hoping that these are strong enough that I can drill through them and just slap one of them on there. If I do 2 and 2, that should be good. I don't think I'll need a card or anything like that. I want to match the relative width of the front ones, which is a little wider than that. So I've got my rubber roofing. See if I can't make a cleaner cut to start with here. I hope drilling into this isn't going to be a problem, but it seems pretty sturdy. I'll put one of the holes like right there, one right there. Should be enough to hold it. I can always make a card if I need to. Make it a little stronger. Like right about here. I can feel it right there. Like I said, I hope that I am not damaging anything, but guess we'll find out. Can always order new parts, right? Got a little driver. Make this a little easier on myself. That's tight. So I don't know why this one's folding at the top, but honestly, it's not going to matter. If anything, it'll just add protection for the body. I think once we're moving, this is going to catch air. So let's see how that looks with the body on. Body's going to sit about there. Yeah, I mean, it's close to the tire, but I think it's got the desired effect of matching the front. Looks like I need to cut it a little more even. There we go. Let's get that body back on. Situated here. Takes a minute to get this body to sit exactly where you want it to. Yeah, match all the holes and stuff. Kind of is a little strange, but you get the idea. So the body will straighten out when everything's tightened down, but I don't think it looks too bad. We got our mud flaps in front and back. These will start flapping out the more that we run. Just send the dirt out sideways. Looks pretty good. I gotta cut the right side down a little bit, but desired effect reached, I think. Yeah, so this was after some clipping and some finalizing, and I think it looks really good. I think the mud flaps turned out the way that I wanted them to, and yeah, gonna take it out and run it and see how it prevents dirt from getting inside the chassis. I got the mud flaps on. Let's see see how she does. Already looks a little better. So that should automatically pick up some dirt. Looks like it's already preventing. You can see some of the mud on the flaps. Looks like it's pretty good. You can see them on the rear flaps. This should work perfect because the ground is pretty wet. We just had rain this morning, so whatever's down in this ground, it will stick to the body pretty good. So we'll see how well the mud flaps do. My last run was really muddy, so I think we'll get a good idea if they're working or not. You can see the tires are picking up some mud. Backing up seems fine. They're not catching. You don't get those amazing rooster tails that we used to get, but honestly, almost worth the cleaning time to not have them. Still fun. So this is after a couple of minutes of running. You see we got the diffs pretty muddy. That's fine. That's easier to clean. But what we really care about is inside the chassis here, and you can see it's actually pretty clean. You can see mud here. That's not terrible. I kind of expect that, but you can actually see the mud on the mud flaps, which is good. Got it kind of going up in the wheel arches a little bit. The rear ones are working great. They're not back here. There's no mud at all. But there's mud all over the flaps, which is exactly what we want. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty good success. I'm gonna run it some more, and if I have any more interesting findings, I'll put it in this video. But yeah, pretty happy with the mud flaps.